As we move to the professional bout of this card, our first professional fight of the night, let's meet our fighters. Fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue Corner, Justin Milani.
It's all the same.
Justin Milani making his way into CenturyLink Arena for the first time. Of course, Pendleton, Oregon, just down the road, which, if you know what's coming up on Monday, of course, everybody's talking about the big totality of the solar eclipse. You might not want to drive.
I can't believe it. You know, people are losing their minds for 2 minutes. 2 minutes of darkness. It's like, well, close your eyes for 2 minutes.
You look at Justin Milani's record, which we're going to get to in a few minutes here. If you look at his last 5 fights here, and taking a look at it, he's on a 2-fight win streak after coming off a 3-loss win streak, or loss streak. You look at his last 2 fights, though. Round 1, knockout in 18 seconds. His 2 fights ago, knockout. Round 1, 4 minutes, 24 seconds. TKO, 1 submission, 2 submissions there. You look at those last 5 fights, Mitch, and again, we talked about it earlier in the show during the amateur portion of the card. Sometimes records are just numbers. It's the quality of the opponents. Looking at that last 5 fights there of Justin Milani's, what can you expect from him tonight?
Well, obviously his grappling game is his weak area, so hopefully he tightened it up from the last few times he was submitted. You know, his wins are from strikes and early strikes in the first round. So we'll see if he can make it deep and not get submitted.
His opponent fighting out of the red corner, Emillio Trevino.
Emillio Trevino set to make his pro debut tonight with us, fighting here out of Boise, Idaho. Had a chance to visit with him last week. Very excited for this. He's been looking forward to not only going pro, but making his debut inside the Front Street Fights cage. From Jet House MMA, another MMA gym here in town. And again, the growth of the sport over the last few years has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you know, we'll see with this. You know, Emilio's really young. I don't know exactly how old he is, but you know, couldn't be more than 20, 21 years old. And,
you know, and this is the first, as you look at his last 4 fights here, his amateur career, 4-0 there. Yeah, he's got a submission, a couple knockouts, 2 submissions and 2 knockouts here at his last 4 fights. And as you move up, I believe this is actually the first light heavyweight bout we've had in the 13-fight history of Front Street Fights. As you move up the weight classes, you know, you can expect some heavy punches, which we may see here in just a couple of minutes. As we go to our tale of the tape, brought to you by Bud Light, here we go. 9 years is Justin Milani over Emillio Trevino, who has the 1 inch advantage in height. Weight goes in the favor of Milani by 3 pounds, while reach is dead even. Let's get things started as we go back inside the cage with Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with our first professional bout of the evening. This fight will consist of 3 5-minute rounds in the Front Street Fights light heavyweight division. And it's brought to you by Jack Daniels. Live freely, drink responsibly. Let's meet our fighters first. Fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue Corner. Behind me, standing in at 6 feet tall, weighing at 201.5 pounds with a record of 2 wins against 7 defeats. Representing solid base jiu-jitsu out of Pendleton, Oregon, I give you Justin, the Copenhagen Kid, Milani. His opponent fighting out of the red corner to my left, standing in at 6 feet 1 inches tall. Weighing in at 198 pounds, he's making his professional debut with us tonight. Representing Jet House MMA of Boise, Idaho, I give you Emillio the Jet Trevino. Our referee in charge of the action in this bout is Tom Supnet.
We are getting ready for the start of the pro portion of the card of Front Street Fights 13, Cortez versus BB, presented by bodybuilding.com. This is the first ever light heavyweight bout in Front Street Fights history. How is this going to turn out? We are underway. We are about to find out.
So I was wrong by a year. He's 22, not 21-20. So, you know, but He's got really strong legs. He's got a really good frame to do some good things in the sport, meaning Emillio. He's doing a lot of switch stance already, so we'll see. We'll see. He's kind of got a karate stance in the sense of he doesn't have a square.
Three or four
stance.
good checks to the chin there by Justin Milani to Emillio Trevino. Again, once we get into the pro portion of the card, all rounds go to 5 minutes. 3 of them per each fight should it go the distance.
Emillio looks really comfortable in his striking.
Going for the leg kick, that could have been deadly.
Which is could be a good thing, you know. Nice uppercut with a left uppercut. Now he switched stances again, got kicked inside leg.
Both of these guys staring each other down, concentration not broken. As these two warriors go toe-to-toe, Emillio Trevino with the double leg takedown.
Nice good flare on that takedown, so he ended up in side control, did Emillio. So we'll see if Justin can get out, you know, get a good underhook, belly down. What he needs to do is he needs to turn into him belly down and kick his legs back to go almost north-south to be able to get up, but holding him doesn't really work too well. And definitely turning away from him is not a good idea.
Good movement by the Copenhagen kid as Emillio Trevino still works to control from the top position.
There it is.
Good switch. But the tenacity of Emillio Trevino to stay right on top of him and push him right back against the cage. Two minutes into round number 1 in this light heavyweight bout between Justin Milani and the pro debut of Emillio Trevino.
Milani needs to kick Trevino away and try to get him off of him so he can just get up.
Again, Emillio Trevino just staying right on top of Justin Milani, keeping him pressed against the cage, not giving him an inch to work with.
Trevino's doing a good job of controlling that bottom leg, Justin's right leg, you know, so he can't get his foot underneath him as easily. And see, he was able to gather his legs back up and do an inside trip.
Again, keeping him pressed against the cage, doing a good job of really putting more pressure than just having control, keeping up against the cage and really not giving, you know, Justin Milani has, pardon the pun, no wiggle room to work with here.
Yeah. So Trevino actually made a little bit of a mistake. He stepped to the left, which he got his butt towards the cage. He should have stepped to the right, and so then Justin would have been pinched up against the cage. So he elected to pass to the wrong side. So, you know, being just a little bit critical, saying, hey, you know, he should have passed to the
Emillio Trevino
center.
trying to start working those elbows there to the rib cage, to the side of the head, as Justin Milani keeps over and really just kind of bearing down right now. Seems to have no escape plan to get away from Emillio Trevino right now and try to take back control of this fight.
Well, also what you're seeing is there seems to be a big strength discrepancy because Emillio seems to
hard right shot. 2 to the ribs.
Emillio seems to be have the better of the strength.
Barely missed with the left elbow there.
Now we have mount.
Hits in 2 elbows, comes in with a couple of left jabs as we have 1 minute and 10 seconds left in this first of 3 rounds between Justin Milani and Emillio Trevino. Emillio getting those hooks locked in. Justin trying to kick his leg out to release those hooks as he does there. But then again, now we can go ahead and clinch.
Now he's starting to get the worst end of it here. We'll see how his...
Good reversal by Justin Milani. This is what he'd been working for the last 2 minutes. But right back around, the strength of Emillio Trevino puts Justin Milani right back in the corner. You saw the look of disappointment by Justin Milani.
Emillio he should be looking to wrist ride or control that far leg like before. Justin's got one of those Kimuras, low percentage because Emilio's already passed to side control. So you need to be in a good Z-guard, half guard to at least get some leverage to have those things work.
The closing seconds of round number 1 between Justin Milani and Emillio Trevino. A lot of storylines already developing in this one. The patience of both fighters, but the strength of Emillio Trevino.
Yeah, absolutely. he got the better of the scrambles, better the transitions.
As we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. Visit projectfilter.org. Speaking of the strength of Emillio Trevino, ducking the punches of Justin Milani, getting him with the double leg takedown, going right to side control.
Yeah, nice flare of the legs, so he ended up in side control. So he's not making a lot of mistakes, except for right here, he ended up in a bad position.
And this is where Justin Milani was looking for the reversal. He gets there, but then again, we talk about the strength of Emillio Trevino. Watch this, from his back, literally picks him up, puts him back in the corner, and you saw Justin Milani kind of shrug that one off.
Yep, absolutely. And then you saw Emillio go right to the same position that Justin just had, but he's got some more strength and core to kind of keep him pressed against the cage.
Again, the two storylines, the patience of Emillio Trevino, the strength of Emillio Trevino, but again, the perseverance of Justin Milani is something to speak towards as well.
Yeah, I think Justin had some good striking. He definitely didn't do as well with the clinches and with the grappling. So, if I was Justin's corner, I'd say, hey, keep those straight punches coming. Just march that kid down and call him a kid. But
couple of punch of exchange there. Again,
nice single
Emillio
leg.
Trevino doing a good job with the high single leg takedown, avoiding the strikes coming from Justin Milani.
And Justin's got that body triangle in the close guard, but see, the problem with that is that now that means that he can't move his hips side to side to threaten for an arm lock. So, the body triangle in the close guard isn't really as effective as when you're on the back.
Emillio trying to work those elbows, able to land at least one of them so far. Slow and steady is the action in this first pro fight of Front Street Fight 13.
Justin's corner keeps asking him to control the wrist because, here's an armbar.
Oh, he's going for that armbar. Is this a mistake? Can Emillio Trevino, is he going to get the strength? He does, able to pick him up just enough. The strength comes through to break that armbar. Very close to being a fight-ending armbar there.
Well, Emillio didn't turn fast enough, and now he's got in this awkward. There's not a whole lot that Justin could do from this. It's when I'm training and somebody kind of does this to me because I was clowning the guy. You're just kind of waiting. Yeah, you're just kind of waiting, But see, Emilio's head is higher than Justin's, so for the most part, he should end up on the better of all these scrambles to get back to a good position, which is exactly what you saw. It's just kind of one of those, why are you doing that?
Emillio Trevino going for that overhand right. Justin Milani doing a good job trying to pull away from him as he can. Exchanges, connects with a right elbow from our vantage point. Up and down goes Justin Milani, courtesy of Emillio Trevino. There is that strength once again, Mitch.
Absolutely. He timed it right. What I liked was a little exchange before then. Was both of them had little elbow shivers. They weren't necessarily, they were like forearm shivers. They weren't necessarily elbows, but they were short little forearm shivers. Now Emillio has the body triangle, which is really tiresome because now what that says is he's not going to be moving and he's going to be looking for chokes. Ooh, nice little
backhand there from Justin
back
Milani.
elbow. Absolutely. Okay, so if he bellies down, there's going to be an arm triangle right here. Emillio needs to circle his head, get belly down, circle his head, and squeeze his elbows together.
He's got him pressed against the cage. Justin Milani, again, doing a good job. The tenacity of Emillio Trevino, keeping him pressed against that cage, not giving him a lot of room to work with, but also kind of somewhat limiting what Emillio Trevino can do. As you see, pulls off there to rework his fight plan there.
Yeah, that was kind of a little confusing. I think he could have finished.
Good left knee.
And so those
follows
knees,
it up with 3 or 4 left
think that
fists.
hurt him. I think that hurt him. Those knees are totally legal to the body on a downed opponent, but when you cannot do it to the head when you have 3 points of contact on a downed opponent. The opponent has 3 points of contact with the ground.
Again. Oh, connects.
Whoa.
A wild punch there from Justin Milani as he seems to have taken maybe an elbow there from Emillio Trevino. And again, Emillio just pushing him right back onto his back against the cage.
I think that that knee on the ground, I think that really, I saw Justin move in a very awkward way. I think that took a lot out of Justin. And you saw it when there was a break right there where he got up and walked to the other side. He almost looked like he was staggered from a knockout.
Well, you think the knockouts come from the punches to the head, but if you look back to Front Street Fights 5 when Jesse Brock headlined that against Bendy Casimir, he basically almost won that off of a gut punch, and it may have actually been Front Street Fights 3. It was one of the two. I remember it vividly.
Yep.
Connects to him right in the gut, and it's that liver shot.
Exactly. Those are hard to recover from. I mean, the highlight reels most of the time are from the head blows, but, so Emillio, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's made just a couple, but he doesn't make a lot. But see, the thing is he's just on Justin so much that Justin's carrying his weight the whole time. So even here, he's carrying his weight. And that gets tiresome. And then you start adding the knee
Rolling
shots.
on the back, looking for a rear naked choke. If he can get the control he wants, cannot get it as we come up to the final 25 seconds of round number 2.
Emillio's doing a good job, keeping his head above Justin's.
Final 10 seconds. He's got a rear naked
on
choke
the
locked
chin.
in. Can Justin Milani survive that? Yeah, he can. Able to release it. Again, the tenacity and the strength of Emillio Trevino. You're seeing that time after time after time. But what you're also seeing from Justin Milani, he's got 9 fights under his belt. You're seeing the patience.
Yep.
As we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. Visit projectfilter.org. Again, the back and forth, the tenacity of Emillio Trevino, as he almost gave up an armbar there. Justin Milani doing the smart thing, keeping that in the strength again from Emillio Trevino to just pick him up just enough to get that released here.
Yep, here's the knee. That's the knee I was talking about. Watch how Justin kind of bellies down. See, and I just saw something kind of funky with his neck when he did that, up close, and so I think that took a lot of steam out of Justin.
As we get ready for the third and final round, if you had to call this one right now, pretty fair to say that Emillio Trevino's in control of the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I got 2 rounds to none for Emillio, so we'll see if he can put it away.
As we get ready for this third and final round in this first ever light heavyweight bout at Front Street Fights, referee Tom Subnet checks with both fighters, gives the signal, and we are back underway.
So I haven't seen Emillio be in trouble once this whole fight. So if I was his
for
corner,
about 2 seconds in the first round, but reversed it.
So if I was his corner, I would be saying, hey, try to get a highlight reel because Justin, he's game, but he's real flat-footed, really slow compared to Emillio. Emillio's still got some spring. He's the younger, has the better cardio. So we'll see. But I would say, hey, stay on the range, Emillio, and try to finish this guy with a highlight reel type knockout rather than just kind of swarming him and smothering him as he's done, because now he should be, nice and seasoned, ready to cook.
45 seconds into this third and final round. Both fighters being very patient, testing the limits. Both know what each other's capable at this point. Justin trying to throw a kick to the midsection of Emillio there.
Little leading forearm.
And he likes to do that a lot. If you've noticed, Emillio likes to lead with his leg for a little extra power behind those punches, regardless if it's left or right hand. A lot of bounce in both steps of both of these fighters. Conditioning definitely playing a factor. Both well-conditioned athletes. Justin throwing a little gut punch there that may have shocked Emillio more than maybe affected.
That's
good
a
outside
second
kick.
That's the second kick that he landed that was not checked by Emillio. So that's a little bit of a tell.
And the more and more you land those, if you're connecting in the same spot, the more and more it's going to wear down that leg, and the more and more those are going to have an effect and start hurting.
Yeah, it'll take away the opponent's lateral movement, his mobility.
Justin Milani going for an overhand right that is countered by another takedown by Emillio Trevino. Again, going right in with the leg flare into side control.
Now we'll see. The last exchange that was here, Emillio got to north-south and pretty much dominated. Right now he's in side control, so we'll see if Justin makes the same mistake and see if Emillio kind of reads that, capitalizes, and is able to finish and keep him down, because last time it was in north-south, he was able to get up. Justin was.
You can hear Justin's corner telling him to give it everything he can. You listen to Emilio's corner, they're yelling, lay heavy hands.
Yeah. like I said, it's one thing to win fights. It's another thing to win excitingly. So, you know, I think Emillio has the right guy in front of him to be able to you know, be able to finish him from the range and not really get in threat of getting knocked out or something crazy happening.
Patience being shown by both of these fighters through really the entire fight. A lot of combinations being thrown. You're seeing a lot of different elements to each fighter's game, but again, both being patient, being reserved and resilient when the time calls for it.
See, this kind of little stagnation is also exacerbated by Emillio laying on top of the chest. You know, should take a page out of Randy Couture's book and kind of put a foot behind him a little bit. One knee on the ground, one foot up, one knee up, and be able to pop up and rain some blows down with heavy blows. But when his head's down, his chest is down, you know, you start getting into this stagnation a little bit.
Justin Milani making Emillio Trevino work for everything he's got throughout this fight. Trevino trying to come in with both elbows as we come up to the final minute 10 of this light heavyweight bout between Justin Milani and Emillio Trevino.
Tom did the right thing, Tom Supnick.
The final minute, Tom Supnet wants to see action. So do the fans here at CenturyLink Arena. Both of them are going for it. Emillio Trevino driving Justin Milani back into the cage. 45 seconds left. Dangerous low kick there by Justin Milani.
Well, you see a little chink in Emilio's armor. His takedowns are sloppy, and when he's really tired here in the last part of the third round, and he keeps shooting, that's his comfort zone. So, you know.
Good elbow there by Justin Milani as we come up to the final 25 seconds.
So it seems like he needs to, you know, keep striking, like I kept saying. It's, you know, he needs to kind of recognize that game plan and shift mid-fight rather than just kind of go into what's comfortable. And that's most fighters, you know, they go to what they're comfortable.
Coming up to the final 10 seconds of this light heavyweight bout between two big boys that have given it all they have tonight. Perseverance and strength were the keys for both fighters. As you can see, the hug and the congratulations and the smiles all the way around. Both enjoyed that fight. Both have a lot to learn from that fight.
Yeah, that was not that was not exciting. That last round needs improvement.
As we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter. You decide to win. We'll show you how. Visit projectfilter.org. You saw it. Emillio Trevino had the hands around the waist of Justin Milani. That strength pushed him right back into the cage.
Well, see, you see it all the time in other fight organizations. You might have a fighter that gets a W, but they also get cut because they are not exciting. You have to be able to put butts in the seats, and that's only with fighters that can be exciting and win in exciting fashion.
Three rounds come to a close here. As you can see, Emillio Trevino with what one would expect to be a unanimous decision victory to go 1-0 in his young pro career. A lot of promise you saw out of Emillio Trevino tonight, and something that we mentioned earlier, sometimes records are just numbers. While it maybe wasn't the cleanest of a fight, and Justin Milani sits in with 2 wins and 7 losses, he's definitely game, definitely strong, and willing to stand in there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, but like I said before, you know, Emillio should have keyed in on that, and you know, he's fighting a guy that's 2-7. And so, you know, it's a nice step up for him, a really nice first pro fight. I get it, but that last round could have been all Emillio.
You know, it could have been, and
Yep.
you know, that's one thing, again, the fine guys at Jet House MMA, and you see from a lot of the camps around in town, you see these young fighters. Obviously, he's an amateur fighter, probably one of the biggest I don't want to say problems, but one of the biggest things you see is nerves. They have to learn to settle those nerves, and then as you start moving on and become a more experienced fighter, nothing to complain about here for Emillio Trevino. This is definitely a learning experience, and as you pointed out, some of the holes that he needs to look at to improve his game. He's obviously got the body size, he's got the passion for it, and he's got the ability to go far.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of promise and everything, but when you're commentating and you're calling it from here, and there's nothing really to talk about, you got to look deep and say, all right, don't shoot the messenger. You say, hey, I got to be exciting. I need to sell out like Casey.
Casey Johnson. He definitely,
he sells
Casey
seats.
Wild Style Johnson's never one to disappoint a crowd.
And he lets it hang out, and he doesn't just get a W, for example.
Again, a lot to learn for Emillio Trevino as he is just getting started in his pro career. Matchmaker Todd Carlson giving him the heads up there. Again, a lot of good things to look forward to from Elmer Umarov. Or excuse me, he's coming up next. I'm getting excited for that one. From Emillio Trevino. But, again, Justin Milani, both fighters. And this is something that you like to see here, especially is the good sportsmanships between both fighters.
Emillio cut a lot of weight to get to this weight class, so, it was a good learning event for him.
Well, let's find out what the score is as we head back inside the cage with Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 very hard-fought rounds, we will go to the judges' scorecard. Judge Scott Marker scores at 30-26. Judge Laz Martinez scores at 29-27. Judge Tim Turner scores at 30-26. We have a unanimous decision. Winning in his pro debut out of the red corner, Emillio the Jet Trevino. All right. I'm not going to follow that up, Emillio. I'm just going to ask you some questions, simple enough. You had a lot of success, it looks like, in the amateur ranks. You step up for your pro debut tonight. What were your expectations of you?
Well, I knew Justin was a tough guy. I've seen all of his fights. I knew I had to train really hard for this fight and just make sure I came in ready. And conditioning was a big part. I kind of took it on short notice, so I didn't have a full camp to prepare. But I came out and just tried to fight as hard as I could, try to get the finish. But like I said, he's a tough guy. It's hard to finish. So.
Ideally, obviously, your first pro fight, you'd probably like to match up against a local guy. Pendleton, not that far away, but what did you know about him after what was your game plan coming in from what you had seen?
I didn't really know much about him, honestly. I knew he had a lot of power and really good leg kicks, primarily a stand-up guy. That was pretty much it. I didn't really know much of a record or anything like that until a few weeks ago, so I just knew he was a tough cat, and I trained for it like it was a world championship. So.
All right. Well, we know you guys as fighters don't get here without a lot of support. Who do you want to thank tonight, Emillio?
Yeah. So I want to thank all my sponsors, my team, Jet House MMA, Jose and Chris. The guys I spar with, Carlos, Jordan. My sponsors, Coldwell, Thomas and Banker Group, Thane Berry. I don't know where you're at. Over there. Drug Shield, the Spot Barbershop with Jayon. Rex Communications, and of course my gym. I have to thank my gym. They've been there, supported me through my whole career and everything. I wouldn't be anything without these two guys right here.
Very good, ladies and gentlemen. Emillio the Jet Trevino, victorious in his professional debut.